Nigel.
Oh, Nigel.
Brar. True.
Clap! Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a Mind of Madness podcast. Finally! Took over a month. A lot's happened.
Yes.
A lot has changed, but we move.
We are very excited to be back, but also, there's some heavy topics going to be hit
Yeah.
today.
So, bit of a warning. Of course, there is only one news topic that we're obviously going to talk about, and it is extremely dark, extremely heavy. So there'll be timestamps and stuff if you want to skip forward, if you want to just brush over it, because I know it's absolutely everywhere in the news.
Yeah, we'll try and talk about some lighter stuff towards the end.
There'll definitely be some lighter stuff towards the end. Don't you worry.
Still be a Mind of Madness.
Absolutely. But it's just as important to acknowledge everything going on in the world. We can't just ignore it. Worst comes to worst, we'll do like a deep dive probably at some point, but obviously it's still an ongoing situation. So, yes. But with the warnings out of the way, how are the devil you, sir?
How the devil am I? I'm deviling good.
I didn't say it correctly, but it's fine.
Yeah. I'm doing quite well. Feeling quite refreshed today, which is a change. Just trying to keep positive in the face of BBC badness, like negativity being, shunned on you by the news, like cost of living, blah, 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 all this stuff. But I'm doing quite well, regardless of that. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Little bit rocky from some stuff that's happened in life, but it's going okay. It's much better than it was. We're moving on with it. Stuff is flowing. I essentially for you guys at home who may not be aware, I am dealing with a death in the family. It's very sad, but we have to keep moving. That is how it goes. Life ends, and we must find purpose.
Yes, definitely. One must continue.
One must continue to die. But on that cheerful note.
Let's talk about Ukraine.
I'm feeling all right though. Thank you for asking, mate.
Yeah, good.
But yes, let us dive into the news. I have a funny feeling this may take us quite some time. If not, it'll be brushed over quickly, like I do in the mornings when I first wake up. But yes, so of course, as Sean said, let's talk about Ukraine and Russia. Of course, the war that is wrecking so many families.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to call it a war in Russia.
No, it's a military opera. Fuck off, Putin.
Yeah,
fuck off.
So basically, if you've been living under a rock, Russia has decided to invade Ukraine. It's been kind of building up for weeks, and it's been, for years even. But like this kind of latest escalation has been in the past few weeks, and they've just kind of surrounded the whole of Ukraine and then invaded. They're trying to get all the major cities, and
I think they've managed to get one, haven't they?
Yeah. I think they've kind of severely underestimated the people of Ukraine and whatever. And they're putting up a hell of a fight. So hats off to them for that. But why has he invaded? I suppose it's because it's a mixture of like reasons. I suppose
small PP.
Small PP.
Small PP.
He believes like part of the land is his, and he doesn't want a neighbor to be joining NATO. He doesn't want kind of the enemy on his doorstep. And kind of an amalgamation of all that and his kind of lies saying he's trying to denazify Ukraine and stuff like that. So that's the reasons why.
I think the main reason is just power, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's a power-hungry maniac.
He's just like at the top of his, castle. He's just, power tripping to the extreme, and
crazy.
He just, he's kind of untouchable as well because the West is kind of bowing to him in some way.
Yeah, I think this we'll split this up into multiple routes. I think because it's such a huge topic, of course. But I mean, the reasons behind it, he has claimed that he's trying to denazify Ukraine and the government, and apparently they're all drug dealers. Of course, load of bullshit. It's basically just Putin has a small PP and has no horses to sit on anymore. Yeah. So he, for a long time, he has insisted that Ukraine should belong to Russia because, for a little history lesson, for those of you who are not aware, when the USSR was a thing, Ukraine was technically part of it, kind of. I'm not too sure on all the facts, but they were essentially sort of like a no man's land area.
Yeah. Neutral.
Yeah,
Like a buffer zone between like Germany and all that.
yeah, absolutely. And essentially, when the USSR was disbanded, apparently there was an agreement that was actually written up that Ukraine would not join NATO or the EU or any kind of power. They would constantly stay the middleman. Now, I don't know if this is true. This is from multiple people that I've talked to about it in my family and other people as well, looking online. But Ukraine essentially wanted to join NATO. And Putin's was kind of like, no, I don't like that idea. And that's believed to be the main reason, I guess. But with Putin, who really knows?
Yeah, it changes all the time.
Yeah.
The reason. It's weird.
I mean, it's clearly just a case of he wants more power. I mean, he recognized 2 states in Ukraine as separate, which none of the rest of the world was like, well, no, that's not how this works. And then, like, he invaded. So, but to sort of look at the Western side of things, there has been a lot of criticism towards the US and the UK, because apparently for months we've been warning about this. Apparently for months we knew this was coming, and yet we did nothing.
Yeah.
It's not so much, as you say, NATO obviously doesn't want to get involved, the EU, us, because that would class as an act of war. I mean, an act of war has already been declared. I don't know what the fuck you're waiting for.
I know.
But I mean, I kind of understand. Maybe it's like they don't want to start a bigger war, so more lives are lost. Yeah. But I mean, how far does he have to go?
I know.
Do they really think he's going to stop with Ukraine?
The annoying thing is, it'll probably just like there'll be like some kind of ceasefire and some kind of agreement where Ukraine remains neutral after many months of this, and then he'll just get away with it because like. They don't recognize any courts and stuff. But anyway, that's jumping the gun.
Yeah, it's so hard to stay on topic with this.
I know.
There's just so much. But yeah, let's focus on the West for a second and kind of their response. Yeah. So humanitarian aid gone through. That's excellent. Great 10 out of 10. But once again, can we talk about the moron in the room, or should I say the leader of the UK, Boris Johnson, who once again is spouting shit. Apparently we're the biggest sanctioner out of everyone. Load of lies. Yeah. He's barely sanctioned anyone. If you look at, genuinely look into it, all he has said is crap.
Yeah.
We barely put any sanctions on Russia.
Well, I learned a new word in the last few weeks: oligarch.
Russian oligarchs. I'm like, that's millionaires in Russia.
It's just like millionaires. Oh, we've stopped some of their yachts and their houses from.
But we haven't. That's the thing. UK haven't. We haven't seized anything. Germany was, I think it was Germany seized an entire bloody yacht.
I know, yeah. But it's all about, economic sanctions and kind of banding together with the EU and all these major corporations trying to put pressure on Russia's economy and stuff. But, I mean, so far, lots of companies have done it. McDonald's, recently. H&M, all the major ones. Apple, iTunes, Netflix, stuff like that.
Which is good. Fully support that. I mean, it's
good, but Putin ain't gonna give it flying toss about stuff like that.
Of course he isn't. No.
But the oil and bans and stuff that the US have put through, they're gonna hit the economy hard.
Yeah.
And the cutting off from the payment system. I forgot what it's called.
Swift banking system, isn't it? Yeah.
And a lot of the banks and Visa debit cards and like MasterCard have been kind of cancelled in Russia. So it's going to hit the poor people of Russia very hard, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think that's the frustrating thing about watching this, right? Is it feels like, yes, these sanctions are great, cool. In a couple of months, Putin's war machine, as Boris likes to spout, will be stopped. He won't have the funding. What about all the innocent Russian people that you're fucking over?
Yeah, and they're being fed propaganda on a daily basis.
I mean, even though they're being fed propaganda, can we just say the Russian people are fucking amazing? Like the people that are protesting that, they are the bravest son bitches ever. They have a leader that you don't agree with me, cool, you'll disappear. And they're
getting a 15-year prison sentence for fake news. Well, who is this? Donald Trump? Huh?
Well, Putin and him got along very well, didn't they?
Putin is by far worse at this point.
Yeah, I mean, what's your opinion on the West's response so far? Do you think they've done enough? Do you think the sanctions are kind of a big enough warning and deterrent, or do you think they need to start considering other options at this point.
Well, I suppose me personally, I'd say they haven't done enough, but it's a difficult situation because can they do any more without escalating it to full blown warfare and and nuclear things getting involved?
Yeah, I mean
because NATO was set up as like a defensive organization and measure. Yeah. It's not an offensive one, so we're kind of the ones who have to respond to things, but because Ukraine aren't part of NATO, it's kind of difficult to get fully involved. We're supplying them with weapons and
of course,
armor and tanks and jets and stuff, so that they can defend themselves. But all we kind of have to do is sit on the sidelines and fap at them.
Sort of say, you've done great, carry on.
I did. I must say, I did cringe the other day when obviously Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, was obviously addressing the parliament, which is very brave and noble, and he's Churchillian speech. And then all the MPs are just kind of clapping, it seems like that's all we do, clap. Clap for carers, clap for Ukraine.
I watched that, and this is not against Zelensky. I think the man is a fucking war hero at this point. He went from comedian to war hero.
This is war against English MPs.
Yeah, this is absolutely against the MPs that were sitting in the parliament. I know all of them don't have power. Boris Johnson at the beginning of Zelensky's speech was on his fucking phone.
Yeah.
He wasn't on it through the entire speech. All right, he shouldn't have been on his phone at all. I don't give a shit if he is Prime Minister and he's getting a text saying, by the way, we're a little fucked here. Can you sort this? No.
And everyone had headphones on because no one speaks Ukrainian.
I know.
And everyone was like, my headphones aren't working. It's quite funny.
It's so pathetic. I feel sorry for Zelensky, man, because he is trying his hardest. Fair play to him. He hasn't left. He's had multiple attempts on his life. Multiple hit squads that have been found and dealt with.
He isn't hiding.
Yeah, and he's just been out in the street fuck you.
Yeah.
Come at me.
That's true leadership.
Yeah, the man is just... there is no other way to describe him other than a hero. He's incredibly inspirational. And, I think it's incredibly brave what he's doing. And I just feel for him and Ukraine right now, And on the topic of NATO and stuff, he is obviously, Zelensky has been begging the West for a no-fly zone. And this has been a very big point of contention, as far as I can tell. Some people say that you can put a no-fly zone in, that isn't an act of war. But other people saying, well, no, technically that's NATO overstepping and getting involved at that point because they have to then shoot down any planes in that zone.
Yeah.
But people have also said have been in the middle, kind of like, well, wouldn't that be a bigger deterrent for Putin not to put stuff there? Because he can't take on the entire West. But then he's threatened nukes and stuff. So, I mean, what's your kind of feeling on the no-fly thing? Because I'll be honest, I haven't got a fucking clue.
Yeah. It's just we don't want to make the situation worse and back him into a corner, as they say, because this is a very dangerous man, despite, he can't take on the whole West, but he can cause considerable damage.
He could destroy the world.
Many, people around the world. And he's just a tyrant. He needs to be stopped somehow, but it needs to be a very kind of drawn out way of doing it. But
it needs to be a very specific way. Yeah.
He can't exactly be voted out in Russia because he's just the top dog, and he's
They tried that, and he just imprisoned his rival, which was crazy.
Yeah, I think he kind of wants to bring it all back to the Soviet.
Yeah, he does. He
misses
the USSR. He always disagreed with it being disbanded.
But he denied that he was going to invade, and then all of a sudden, after all these warnings, he's invaded.
It's not an invasion; it's a special operation. You can word it however you want, Putin. You're fucking over another country by invading them.
So hundreds of thousands of troops, and the Russian army apparently aren't all that. So they're not actually very good. It's a lot of people kind of forced into it, and having no idea of kind of what they're fighting for.
Yeah. I saw this.
So there's been many casualties on the Russian side. That's what's been reported anyway. I don't know how exactly they count these things, but
I mean, I know Putin basically said, no, we haven't lost that many and everything's going to plan, but I mean, the images we see, Putin, suggest otherwise if you weren't aware.
I mean, he's got quantity, but he hasn't got the quality of the army, I don't think, compared to the Ukrainians.
Yeah, the Ukrainian troops had 20,000 forces trained by the UK, which I'll give the UK shit all the time, but we do have one of the biggest, vigorous training programs for for military.
Mm.
Not the best, but definitely up there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't even need to know the facts, just look at it.
Yeah.
The sheer tenacity of the Ukrainian people, as well as British people going over to fight with them.
Yeah.
And, which is nuts.
Yeah.
But, full respect to anyone that goes over there and is
Yeah.
fighting for freedom. And
You get all the footballers and celebrities saying, "Oh, I cry every day for Ukraine," but then I go home and but it's like, oh no. Yeah, how about get out there then if you're really that bothered?
Yeah, the Klitschko brothers, boxing legends that are over in Ukraine, who came from Ukraine, they're fighting. There's a tennis player who was Ukrainian who's gone back to fight. Like, it's incredible. I feel like no matter how you look at this situation, the rest of the world needs to look at Ukraine and be like, now that's how you fucking
They're
give a shit.
basically taking the brunt of all this for us all. Yeah.
Look at Russia. Look how big they are. Look at Ukraine. And look who's winning.
Yeah.
Like, admittedly, though, to go off of that segment of saying, Ukrainian are fucking incredible, there is also this other side of it as well, which we're going to discuss, which is the sheer number of people just blatantly, and I'm not going to put it any other way, murdered by Russia. Twice a ceasefire was meant to happen. They've done a third one, I think, today. But twice. And Russia fired on the ceasefire.
Yeah, it does kind of tell you something.
That's an act of war. That literally is the definition of an act of war. And the West are going, don't know. We need to do an investigation. Fuck off.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It tells you something about how the Russian army and how their tactics are when they're kind of targeting civilians over soldiers, and they'd rather, shell from a distance than, actually, get up close and personal, because they know that they're kind of outmatched in that regard. But I mean, it's been like 13 days or something now
I think it's
of
2
warfare.
weeks today.
Yeah,
the
14 days.
filming this. But,
And they've been shelling major cities. They've been driving tanks. I mean, we've all seen lots of videos and whatever on Facebook of kids trying to escape and getting there's like bombs going off everywhere, missiles being fired at blocks of flats and hospitals and schools.
It's crazy.
And just imagine, you can't even comprehend. Like, close your eyes and just imagine what that'd be like just in this country or whatever.
I mean, it is fucking horrifying. Like, some of the images as well. Like, you just see kids, blood all over them.
Yeah.
And you hear about Zelensky every day doing these updates, being like, more kids are dying, more people are dying. This is ridiculous. Why is no one helping us? And I think you really start to wonder. It's like, okay, I understand there are rules. I understand there are procedures to things. When does the morality kick in for the West? When is enough enough? They bombed a site that had literal Holocaust. It was a Holocaust memorial site, and they destroyed it. They've bombed
nuclear sites.
Yeah, the biggest nuclear plant in the world now is controlled by Russia, and they own Chernobyl. I'm not comfortable with that, I'll be honest.
No.
Like, not at all. But this is the thing. I completely get that apparently the reason they got the nuclear power plant was because the Ukrainian workers basically went, all right, cool, it's yours, stop fucking firing at it. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, apparently that's why they managed to capture it. It wasn't because they pushed through and won it. It's because the people in there were like, for fuck's sake, you're going to ruin the world if you...
I know. That's
They were firing missiles at it. The fuck is wrong with them?
They're literally playing with,
They're
like,
just
everyone's
drinking
lives.
Russia. Like, they just in Russia. Are they on the front lines just drinking vodka? Is the myth real? Like,
It's just like bulldozing the way in. Like, they don't care about anything as long as they achieve their objective. Achieve? That's the name.
yeah,
Achieve their objective.
it's fucking crazy, man. And
Firing on nuclear zones. What the hell?
I mean, like, it's so, I don't know, it's scary because obviously, we've learned about World War One, World War Two. We've seen these things. We've saw what happened in Afghanistan. Like, we're in the sort of generation that grew up with it and, saw it on the news, but it wasn't really a thing. But I don't know, this feels much different.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the West is trying
Feels much closer to home, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's like watching it, I remember day one, the first invasion, I was watching kind of the live thing of Kiev. They have like these cameras basically that are live all the time, and you watch it now, and you can hear so much more fighting, so many more soldiers on the ground, Like, I don't know, it's scary. Just, I can't even.
Yeah.
There's no words to describe the fear that I have for the situation.
Yeah, the atrocities and the war crimes committed, like they're not going to be forgotten, and going to have to pay for their war crimes eventually. But let's just stop the bloodshed first.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't know. The fact that they are trusting Russia to do another ceasefire for the third time.
Oh yeah, so they've
Why?
set up a number of ceasefires and travel corridors to get civilians out, but first one failed, second one failed. They ended up shelling the routes that they're trying to get civilians away from, and apparently the routes go into Belarus and Russia. A lot of the routes, so you kind of escaping one war zone and into the hands of the enemy.
Yeah, it's.
And convenient that they passed that law about fake news when the people of Ukraine want to kind of spread the news about what's happening in Ukraine,
It's funny
in Russia, and then they'll get jailed. So well done.
It's I don't know. It's fucking crazy. I just, to me, I can't quite understand how something like this is able to even happen in the 21st century. But yeah, I mean, I there's not really much else to say on Ukraine itself other than Jesus Christ, everyone that's fighting is a hero.
Apparently, well, not that there's any kind of good spin on it, but obviously the power of the Ukrainian people is very admirable, and I think yesterday they had a relatively successful evacuation day, so I think they honoured one ceasefire. Well done.
Thanks, Russia.
And apparently the Russian army aren't making any advances, or like any meaningful advances anymore. So I mean, if I was to predict anything, I'd say they just focus more on the heavy artillery. They'll just shell Kiev to the ground.
Yeah, that's what Zelensky's concerned about. Is why he wants the no-fly zone. Because, all right, Russia doesn't have the best technology, but they certainly have the capabilities of just doing a bombing run over and over and over.
Yeah, they'll just pummel it until
there's nothing
it's surrendered. But so how does this end then? Like how can they stop this here? Because I can imagine if it's happening here, like your main focus would be on just stopping bloodshed, and would that be surrendering to Russia, or would that be making an agreement of some kind to stop it? I feel like that's the only option at this point. But would it be the West getting involved?
I think this is not going to stop until Zelensky's dead. I think that's the awful thing.
Putin.
Either one. I think it's an awful thing to say because that's not what you want to hear. But I mean, it's clear the Russian plan was to get this done in 4 days, and the pushback they've received is not what they expected. I think Putin clearly wanted Zelensky dead very quickly because, especially when this uprising was happening, and he's such a martyr. He'd become a martyr at this point. But, if he can... I think his way of thinking is very much the way that I've heard everyone else talking about it, which is you get rid of the leader, the morale drops, and you can probably push through and do more. There's like a 40-mile convoy that hasn't really moved at all because they just can't.
Yeah.
They're disorganized. The Russian soldiers don't know what they're doing.
I think they've run out of fuel or something.
Yeah,
they have to stop.
It's there's been tanks that have just been abandoned and left, and Russian soldiers have left and just gone, I'm not fighting this war, fuck this. I mean, it's clear that Russia is not in a good spot right now, and the only reason that the fighting is still continuing is there are a few idiots that believe the propaganda that their leader spouts.
And apparently they can't go on like this for weeks. I mean, they've probably got like another week or two left of this heavy kind of bombardment until they start having to rein it in, because they're kind of going to run out of money and they're going to run out of, weapons.
I think US have been very fucking clear with them, which is they're not getting any more money from them. The UK is the fucking worst, man. Like, there's so much dirty Russian money that comes to us that I wasn't aware of either until this happened. It's crazy how corrupt the UK is. But yeah, I mean, Putin is not going to have enough money to keep fueling this fight. And it's sad to say, but I think the West is just kind of waiting for that to happen.
Yeah,
they're just like, Ukraine, keep fighting. You're doing a great job. We'll clap for you. Well done. Don't worry about the horrifying shit you're seeing. It's all good. You're doing a great job. And I sympathise with Zelensky in the fact that he's just like, fucking, great, you clapped for us, wonderful. Come and fucking pick the dead kids up off the floor then. How about that, you know?
And then when it comes to refugees, like, I think Poland has taken, like,
God.
about 150,000 or something. I can't remember exact figures, but they've taken a lot. UK?
I think the last time I checked, which was just before this podcast, it was something along the lines of 24,000.
Right.
And there's like 220,000 still going.
Yeah,
because the system is so fucking
they've got
stupid.
like a certain scheme where relatives can come over for a certain amount of time, like with relative ease.
Yeah.
And then there's a visa system, which I think they've granted about. Well, on Sunday it was like 50 visas, which is like absolutely ridiculous.
Fucking pathetic. I think Priti Patel tried to argue her case that the system she's put up is great. Fuck off and just leave your job. No one likes you. You're a pathetic bitch that doesn't know what she's doing. Same with the rest of the fucking government. Like, it's ridiculous. Every other fucking EU country has gone, fuck this, like, fuck the rules, just coming in. Fucking get away.
We'll sort that out later.
Yeah, and Boris is like, well, I don't think it's a good idea to get rid of restrictions because I think that's a very stupid thing to do. No, you're a fucking idiot. Just you don't know how to run a country. You just I am terrified at the prospect that you are sending humanitarian aid because I feel like all you're doing is sending good wish you well cards. That's your humanitarian aid. Like,
when it's like 3,000 times easier to get on a boat at Calais and illegally cross the border to Dover. And then get a house and a hotel and be eating pizza by, the evening. It's like, no wonder people come over illegally. Like, Jesus, it's this hard. Fucking them around at the border.
Yeah. As a UK citizen, as a British citizen, I am so angry and so ashamed of this fucking country at this point.
Because the citizens want to do more, don't they? Like, we want to do more to help.
I said this to my mum. We were talking about it and she was like, well, if we did get into a world war, would you volunteer to go and fight? And I went, abso-fucking-lutely, without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, would I die? Probably. But because I've got no experience. But would I absolutely go on the front line and fight to make sure that freedom stayed a thing? Yes.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yeah.
What's Boris doing? I'll try and do what I can. Maybe send some knickknacks. Send some quavers. Like...
Yeah, apparently at the border they were getting crisps and a drink after like thousands of miles trekking. Like, the 11-year-old boy had to make a 6-hour journey across the entire country just to get to the border. And they're greeted with
packet of crisps,
a bottle of water and a packet of crisps.
Fucking joke.
That's the humanitarian aid that we're sending over.
It's fucking ridiculous and it's shameful. I know we're laughing and smiling about it, but it is utterly ridiculous.
Like, uncomfortable smiling because it's ridiculous.
You look, even fucking Germany has done more. Even they broke their own fucking rules. They were like, we're demilitarizing. They've now increased their military spending and sent weapons and tanks and fucking, like, Jesus Christ, when Germany is doing better than you.
Yeah.
Not to shit on Germany. Wonderful country. I'm very aware it's not the same. But, like, even they broke their own rules and the EU allowed them to be able to help. The UK are like, we're not going to get rid of restrictions to allow people to get safe.
Yeah.
You have to wonder.
And then I suppose going forward with this, the oil, with dependency on Russian oil, like, I think the UK only depends on about, 5% of imports. So we'd be pretty much okay. So I say, yes, we're doing amazing, ban all Russian oil. But that's the only, 5% of our imports is Russian. So it's it doesn't really affect us that much. But it's easy for us to say. But I think, Germany and, other European countries are probably, shitting themselves saying, well, we can't do that because we are dependent on the Russian oil for now.
I think the EU are phasing it out like we are by the end of the
year. They're phasing it out, but it's going to take... so long.
And it's going to be hard. It's not going to be fucking easy.
And Russia are like, oh, well, we could just stop it anyway, we don't care.
And they were like, Putin was like, well, fuck you then, you don't deserve our oil.
Literally the only ally they have is China now.
And even that's rocky.
And so they're going to be like, oh, well, we'll just sell our oil to China, but it's going to take 5 to 10 years to build a solid pipeline and work to get into that, Well,
not just that, but Russia will be desperate because they'll need money. So China's going to be like, I'm not paying all that money for it. You can have a tiny amount for all that.
It's amazing how neutral China has stayed throughout this. They can abdicate from, in the UN votes against, do you support Russia? And like all these countries are like, no. And China are like, no, we abdicate from
abstaining. Yeah, we're abstaining.
Yeah.
I think there was, I don't know how many countries there were. I think there was like 5 or 6 countries that abstained, and the rest were like, fuck you, Russia. So, I mean, I don't know. It's fucking crazy.
How could one man just, still be allowed to do this? And like, part of you thinks like, let's just fucking storm in there, slap him.
Just fuck off.
But it's
But
like,
then
that's not how it works.
Yeah, and then you're kind of... I understand the frustration on people's faces being like, why don't NATO just get involved? Why don't the US get involved and the UK just crush him within minutes? It's not just about...
We have the capability to do that, but...
Yeah, it's also the lives that would be lost on our side, the innocent Russian forces' lives. There are Russian troops that don't want this war. Again, that's why they abandoned their vehicles and left them. Not all of them want to do this fight. All the innocent Russian civilians that don't want this, that are protesting every day. There are innocent people that would be killed by the West if we invaded. There is no way of beating around that bush. Would it be as bad as what Russia are doing? Of course it wouldn't be. There would be a purpose to it, but it's still not good. You can't kill innocent people. That's just not how this works.
No.
And, the West have, just look at what the UK are very happy trigger when it comes to invading places. Look at our history. But, we're not the same that we used to be. Putin has threatened nuclear weapons, although I don't think he would. Personally, I think it's just a big boy threat because...
Yeah.
But he loves himself too much.
He doesn't have anything to gain, and apparently, the rumor has it he's like sick or something.
No, which is not a shock.
So, maybe he's just like a loose cannon, for lack of a better expression.
Yeah, and again, it comes. That also adds to the sanctions thing, right? What's he got to lose at this point?
Yeah.
Why
he's
would
not going to be
out?
Personally affected by anything like this.
Yeah, exactly. Why does he need to pull out of this war when he's not going to lose anything? He's got nothing to lose. He's dying if he is ill. He's only getting older. His money now means fuck all. Like the ruble, I think, is at the lowest it's ever been in history.
Yeah.
He's got no power. His own people are uprising against him. His own army, some of them have abandoned the front line, even though that's punishable in Russia.
Apparently, one of the major generals in the army was passed away yesterday from warfare, and people are like, what the hell is the general of that stature doing on the front lines? Something must be going wrong there.
Yeah, well,
behind the scenes.
They're not communicating properly either. This is the thing. Putin's acting like, oh, it's all fine, it's going well, but he didn't give them the only order he gave them was just go there and take this. And when that failed, he just went, why haven't you done it yet?
Yeah, sure, we'll have a ceasefire. Yeah. They don't even tell the truth.
He was in the KGB, but he wasn't very good at it. Clearly. He's still alive, don't get me wrong, and he probably has got some knowledge, but he's not a leader. And that's why this isn't working. I do think if this keeps going, though, this invasion for another 3-4 weeks, I think it's sad to say, but I think Ukraine will fall. But Russia will fail in the long run. Which is, but that's not fair. It's just
like,
isn't.
Great, now we have Ukraine. Now we've got to pay to restore it all.
Exactly. This is why I don't think he gives a fuck anymore. He clearly doesn't care about invading it anymore. He just wants to act hard. He's got nothing to lose, so he's just like, fuck it. Why don't I go do this? There was a funny moment with one of his advisors when they were talking to him early on in the invasion, and they were trying to make it clear to Putin that Ukraine is they are independent and they should have independence, but not in the way Putin liked. And Putin just leant forward and went, speak plainly, speak clearly.
Yeah, I've seen that one. And the guy's like,
you see the look in the guy's eyes, like, I'm going to go kiss my wife goodbye then. I'm going to a gulag. That's just who Putin is. You don't agree with me, I'll kill you. And he's just kid. It doesn't work. You don't have loyalty there.
Yeah. He's almost like a movie villain. He must have so much security, and he never sits more than 20 meters close to his comrades and stuff, because of the assassination attempt.
That's what Zelensky said, wasn't it? It was like, you're not sitting 30 meters away on a fucking table from me like you do with Macron, like you do with Boris. You're going to sit next to me and we're going to talk, or it's not happening. And fair play, Zelensky knows how to get into Putin's head.
Yeah.
But
my God, I don't even know anymore.
It's such a fucking huge topic, man. There's so much to it.
I think we did well covering quite a lot of it then, but
yeah. Again, that
it's
is
still
not-
ongoing, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's an ongoing situation that is absolutely not even close to all of it, and the horrifying war crimes that are being committed every day. That we didn't even touch on the weapons being used, like cluster bombs, so on and so forth. But there's so much to this. If we were to do like maybe a special episode, like a deep dive or something later on, sure. But right now, it's still ongoing. It's still a scary situation, I think, for everyone, but mostly Ukraine. Like again.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't mean much, but I can't volunteer. I could volunteer to get over there, but I can't. Literally, I can't. I can't. I can't get to London.
You won't be able to get back.
I'd be fucking stuck here.
You'd be stuck with a bag of crisps and a bottle of water. What the fuck am I doing?
I've got no military experience, so it's not. I'd be fucking useless, but I would still fight if I had to. But
yeah, it's just everyone just spare a thought for the Ukrainians and what they're going through, and I mean,
absolutely,
we're pretty powerless in some regards, but
yeah,
I just gotta hope and pray that Russia falls or the people of Russia uprise. But it's probably not going to happen because apparently 75% of them are on board with all these things because they've been with all the propaganda they've been lied to and they believe it.
I think that's the sad thing as well. It's like a lot of people have been misled.
Yeah, it's like just imagine on every single news channel here that maybe they were talking about how Russia is this horrible place, and apparently the whole world is saying, oh no, it's fine. I don't know.
It's crazy.
If we're seeing the same thing on every single news channel, we're going to believe it because that's what our main source of news.
Yeah. So just quickly, this is the most latest update that I could find. Zelensky says that the threat level at maximum and warns that a mass humanitarian catastrophe without a no-fly zone. The Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has said that the international community would be responsible for a mass humanitarian catastrophe if it does not agree to a no-fly zone, and warned that the country is at maximum threat level. Russia uses missiles, aircraft and helicopters against us, against civilians, against our cities, against our infrastructure. It is the humanitarian duty of the world to respond, he said in his daily televised address.
Yeah, I suppose the counter to that would be it's also humanitarian responsibility to not escalate the war and cause even more death, which is a very difficult decision to make, isn't it?
It is. It's hard. There's if we go in, does he throw a nuke?
I know.
And if he does, that would be no one wins.
Far more catastrophic than even the terrible things that are happening in Ukraine.
Well, if he throws a nuke, everyone throws a nuke. We all lose.
Yeah.
We all lose at that point. No one wins.
I know. And then that's welcome to humanity.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I feel for him, but I'm not an expert in these fields. I don't know what the fucking right thing to do is. I do think we need to do more. What is more? I don't know.
Well, it's like you said earlier. It's going to just be left to Ukraine, isn't it, to fight their own battle, and eventually it'll be worn down.
Yeah, hopefully. And hopefully before Ukraine falls, and hopefully Zelensky will get through this and come out the other side just a pog champ. Just
I know.
A Chad above Chads.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens.
He fought back the enemy and he lived to tell the tale.
I fucking hope he does. Can you imagine how good that's going to feel?
Yeah.
That's what I'm holding on to.
Yeah, Putin's face when he's still there.
Just like, what the fuck? Yeah. Well, for now, we shall move on.
We shall... Oh, God, I was going to do a terrible analogy then. We shall cease fire from...
Oh, bloody hell.
Terrible.
Terrible pun. Terrible joke to try and lighten the mood. But again, don't forget... When we do this stuff, we have absolute respect. It is just a case that if you've watched our other podcasts or listened to them, you know what we're like. We're going to make some jokes here and there because it is a dark subject. But yeah, absolutely. Thoughts and prayers to Ukraine and the people, and absolutely keep fighting on. And I believe the symbol is this. I don't know. I feel bad, but keep on fighting.
Yeah.
But there we go. What should we move on to?
They're probably some of the news things, but it probably doesn't feel right to talk about any more news things, which will pale in comparison to.
Yeah. So next week, or whenever we do another podcast, it'll go back to normal with the news.
Yeah.
But
all about Prince Andrew rubbish and Cressida Dick and stuff like that.
We'll absolutely go into that, but I think it only feels respectful just to have the Ukraine and Russia thing for now.
Yeah.
At least. But yeah.
So sounds so weird to just do a segue into anything else now.
Yeah.
Shall we
I feel like
put a
that's
line
going
on
to
that now?
let's move. Let's go on to something else for a little bit. Let's go on to gaming. How's about that? How about that? Let's go on to a lighter, hearted subject.
Right. Have you been playing any?
Oh, I've just been playing some Call of Duty. You know? No. Right. Okay. Well, I finished up with Deathloop. This was a while ago. Of course, it has been a while, so we're going to be a little bit behind, but we'll catch up. So I finished up on Deathloop. I never finished the game. I'll be honest, I got bored.
Okay.
Pretty fucking bored. I don't know. The game's not bad, but it was just you are just doing the same areas essentially, and just trying to take out all these different people, and I don't know. It couldn't keep my attention. Not a bad game, but I don't know. Not one that kept me interested.
I feel like a good multiplayer mode would be good for that, but maybe it already has it, but I don't know.
I think it has like an invasion mode, so you can go and invade someone else's game as the lead villain and take them out and stuff, which is cool, but it's, I don't know. Again, it's very repetitive. It's not, after you've done it once or twice, you're kind of like, it's just the same shit over and over, really.
Yeah.
But not a bad game, but not for me.
Cyberpunk made a little kind of revelation, and it dropped its PS5 update.
Yeah, patch 1.5. This was what we talked about when it happened.
So it came out of like a little trial as well. I did try a little bit of it. It felt very smooth, and felt like a good-ish game so far. But
it felt like the game that should have been released.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good that they kind of just like stealth released that, like, without any kind of
yeah, they kind
building
of,
up hype.
I think they did a small announcement for it. I think they were kind of like, oh, it's coming, but they didn't give a date.
Yeah.
And then I remember when it came out, I downloaded it and tried it, and I was like, as someone that played, I think from 1.4 to 1.5, I didn't play like the super early on versions. It's very good. I'm glad they did it.
Yeah. So they kind of regained a little bit of street cred with that, but
I think it's sad though, because I think
people are always going to associate Cyberpunk with.
Yeah. I think it's sad because when I play the PS5 version, it's very good. It's very, very, very good.
Solid package.
There's a lot of issues with it still. There's a lot of bugs, but overall it's solid. It looks beautiful. It runs really well. I haven't had a single crash since they've done this update. And then it reminds me, it's been over a year since the fucking game came out. This should have been what it was when it came out.
Yeah.
So I think that's the issue that CD Projekt Red are always going to have now. Is like, yes, you kept on your promise and you did fix the game. Thank you for that. You should have done that in the first place, though. Like, I think that's always going to be a thing that weighs over them. But if you haven't picked up Cyberpunk, when it's on deal or when it's on offer, I do highly recommend it now. It's definitely a very polished experience.
Yeah.
And they've got plenty more stuff to come as well. So.
Yeah. We both finished Dying Light 2. I can't remember if we talked about this.
No, we didn't. We were meant to. Yeah, what was kind of your thoughts and feelings on Dying Light 2? I know I asked you to should we do a deep dive on it, and then that got cancelled because of what happened. So
yeah. Well, I thought it was a very enjoyable, kind of waiting room game for like other games, I suppose. It's a good game. The good points with the parkour and the fighting and the zombie action and the gunplay, but it wasn't really gunplay. It was just melee weapons. Story in some aspects was quite good, but some aspects it wasn't. The soundtrack was amazing. Like the world was really good and bigger than the last one. And it was an enjoyable experience for I'd say about 30 to 40 hours. That's what I put into it.
Yeah.
And I'd say that was like sweet spot, probably enough for me.
Yeah.
To kind of put it down and say, okay, I've not finished every single side mission. I've not gone back and played it again, but I'm quite happy with what I did.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, the ending did leave a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Because,
there are multiple endings, but of course, the ending, I remember you talking to me about the ending you got, and you were kind of like, it didn't feel like it should have been like that, but...
Yeah, I don't know if we talk about spoilers and stuff, but...
Yeah, I mean, the game's been out long enough. At this point.
Well, the ending I got, cooking away now, was like the whole like city got bombed, and because I saved the girl that I wasn't really that into. But I didn't realise that saving her would result in the whole city getting annihilated in bloody missiles or whatever. So that was a bit of a pain, and then does that thing of, well, you can continue playing from the point before this and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, what's the point? It's just going to get all annihilated anyway. And yes, the final boss battle, I think we both had a few problems with that. And there's just the general level of voice acting and stuff. Some were good. Aiden was really good. Some like the female, I forgot her name.
Which one? There's a couple.
Not the main. I don't know, the one with the famous voice actor.
Oh yeah, the yeah. No, I can't remember. It's been a while since I played Dying 2. I am playing through it a second time.
Yeah, that's the how memorable her personality and stuff is. But
yeah, it's not. It's not great.
But yeah, as far as the side quest characters and some of the other extras, it's just like, hello, nice to see you. Would you like to come and fetch me a scarf? But yeah,
fetch quest everywhere. It's I agree. I mean, as someone that put 67 hours in my first playthrough of it, did all the side quests, did all the parkour stuff, everything like that. Yeah, I'll be honest, bitterly disappointed compared to the first game. The first game just got its 60 frames update as well, so I'm very, very excited. But yeah, no, bitterly disappointing. Not a bad game, not by a long shot, of course not. But I'm gonna do a deep dive on it because I have a lot of opinions, especially that final boss fight. Was
whoever designed
fucking awful. Whoever designed that needs to be sacked. I'm sorry, but like compared to the rest of the game. Why? There are other ways to make it difficult.
He's got about 70 phases, and you just like, it's not even interesting.
It's so stupid because it's just the same shit over and over with just him being more of a pain in the ass.
Yeah. But every single mechanic he has is just to knock you away and knock you off the platform.
I mean, to give a quick overview of it, because again, like I say, I do want to do a deep dive because I'm playing through it a second time because I want to see all the other sort of endings and stuff. But yeah, no gameplay.
You're a braver man than I.
Gameplay is fun. The parkour is fun. Combat feels a bit clunky in my opinion, but I guess the first one was kind of like, I know people use the excuse of European charm. No, it's clunky, and they should have done better. Voice acting. It's all right. They kind of just found a man that sounds like Troy Baker to play the main protagonist. Again, the famous actress that was in it. Apologies that I can't remember her name. I have seen her in other stuff, and I like her.
Hakon, but that's not her. That's the main guy. Guy.
That fucking wank. Yeah, that piece of shit. Yeah, him, and then you've got. The main that actress. She's good in it, but I think the material she was given kind of doesn't allow her to kind of show her full potential, essentially.
Yeah.
She's kind of very one-dimensional. I know they built her up to be this fucking middle ground person that's like, well, she doesn't disagree or agree with you, but, she sort of helped guide you. No, she's a pain in the ass, and half the time I got annoyed with her. So, the mechanic of choosing which side, peacemakers or survivors, is pretty basic. Good and bad. There
doesn't really change too much. Basically, really you get a crossbow. If you can,
by the way, you can still get a good ending no matter who you choose.
Yeah.
So I don't know where they got this idea from that, it's such a different changing world.
Yeah, it kind of wants you to choose things all the time, but you don't really care about your choices.
Yeah, you won't. It doesn't matter.
You're not really invested in anyone.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter either. Like, nothing really changes, so...
core gameplay is still going to be the same, whatever choice you make.
And the ending... It's poo.
Yeah.
I mean, I got... What did I get? I think I got middle. I think I had 1 point that was good and 2 points that were bad. No, 2 points that were good, 1 point that was bad. I think that's what I got. Because there's technically 3 aspects to the ending. It's really stupid. But yeah, whatever. And then, the soundtrack, probably the best thing about the game, if I'm being honest. That soundtrack was... Ooh, so good. But, disappointing would be my... But then again, like, that's why I'm playing through it a second time. I kind of want to see if there's anything I could sort of do differently. Maybe there was something I missed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I want it to be a good game, man. I love Dying Light 1.
I think now that I've kind of sold it, I do kind of get the urge sometimes to, like, I want to play that again just for the parkour and the fun that you can have swinging around.
But then I would say, if you want that, just play the first game now.
Yeah.
It's so
I do
much
have that
smoother.
installed.
It's so
still
much
looking forward to
smoother.
playing that.
Yeah, 60 frames is going to be so good. It's
Yeah.
so much smoother. I mean, there are aspects to the second game that are better, but again, when I do my deep dive,
It's just got a different atmosphere in the
Yeah.
first one.
when I do a deep dive, you'll know more. But yeah, overall, yeah, that would be my reaction.
6 out of 10.
Yeah. Right. Okay. A little bit of more updated news. So, PlayStation Now obviously doesn't have day one releases, right? Shadow Warrior 3 was a day one release, though. They did that very recently. So a lot of people are speculating that, oh, maybe Sony's changing their tone. Maybe when they do this update, they'll start having day one releases. What are your thoughts? You know,
maybe.
I'm pretty young.
The new tier PlayStation Plus system. I think we did touch on it on the previous one, but yeah, they need some kind of rival to Game Pass, but it's not going to be a rival to Game Pass.
No,
it's going to
not.
be extremely bad. Well, not bad, but
it's
not
gonna
as
be
good
Game
value.
Pass.
Yeah.
People are comparing it to Game Pass, and it's like, it's not Game Pass. It's not. Even Sony have said it is not a rival to Game Pass. That is not the idea of it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's just like PS Plus enhanced with a few extra classic games, maybe, and yeah. I'm not going to bother with it personally.
I think it depends what kind of classic games they've put on the the backlog. It depends on the backlog, really, doesn't it? Like, if they've done barely any, if it's like 60 games, then no, of course I'm not going to fucking pay for that. But if they've done, let's say, 95% of all the games from the past, I might be inclined to maybe go on and check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, so I'm not like too fussed with all the games. Like, there's the nostalgia aspect, of course, which is lovely to go back and play your childhood memories and whatever.
Yeah.
But then you could play it in this day and age, and you're like, what the ass? What the absolute hell was I thinking?
Yeah.
Like, obviously that was the best at the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wouldn't be too precious about my older games. Like, happy for remasters and stuff there. I'd rather memories stay, as they were.
Yeah.
Not tarnished by, oh my god, this game is so shit.
Oh, it's so bad.
Oh my god, it's so clunky and it's at 15 frames per second. My god.
Can you imagine? Oh,
yeah, it's a slideshow.
Yeah, literally. Bloody hell. Yeah, no, that's fair.
But yeah, I can see the appeal for many people, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, not really much more I can say about that one. Hopefully, at some point they announce it soon, or they kind of. Yeah. I know they stopped selling PS Now cards or something.
Yeah, like you can't get 12 months anymore. Although I managed to update my PlayStation Plus subscription for another year, so I mean.
And apparently they're throwing in like a year of PS Now with when some people have bought PS Plus or something. But I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow skipped you.
Well, no, I have it like auto-renewed on my actual PlayStation, so it just does it through that every year. So that's probably why. I mean, if I bought it separately, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not really that bothered. It's not a lot on PS Now.
So they're definitely changing something behind the scenes, and there's new firmware updates coming soon and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What else have I got for games? Uncharted. Uncharted.
I mean, yeah, there was the film.
The film came out, yeah.
Which we'll get into.
Yeah.
I want to know. But yeah, I mean, Horizon Forbidden West. Some news on that. I'm 24 hours in. It's all right, but I think this is a subject I wanted to talk about actually in the gaming stuff, which is open worlds. I'm burnt out on them now.
Yeah.
I'm fucking done with them. Enough of this bullshit fucking go here, collect this shit. Like, enough. Where are all the single player games now? Like, where are the linear shit gone? I'm done with open worlds. They're all the same thing. And the reason this propped up was because a lot of people have been saying about Elden Ring, a game which I have not played. But they've been saying, like, the open world to it feels like an open world. Like, it feels alive. There's different areas that have been specifically designed and stuff. Why did every other open world not do this? Why is it so lackluster? And even with Horizon Forbidden West, a game that I am genuinely enjoying a lot, it's like a Ubisoft sandbox, basically. Just, there's this marker, go here, do this. There's this thing over here, go do this. Why? What happened to creativity in open worlds? Like,
obviously they had to make it kind of bigger and better and longer than the previous ones, so that includes making a lot of fetch quests and a lot of side stuff to do.
Yeah.
Even if it's not very lucrative or
Open worlds can be fun, man, but I've found very closely with, and I'm getting there with Forbidden West. I actually am like very close to just being like, oh, I'm fucking done with this. I can't be bothered.
Is there any new mechanics to help you like interact with the world a bit more?
There are, yeah. Like you've got the swimming, which is fun. That's it is an interesting take on it. There's a lot of cool things that you can do with it. The game itself visually is outstandingly beautiful. I don't quite understand why people are complaining that Ayla looks like a man. I think she's hot as fuck. I'm just saying. But people are like, oh, she's got fuzz in her face. You've never met a woman then. All women have fuzz on their face. That literally is just a thing. All humans have fur. It's just a thing.
It's not like she's going around with a big bushy beard. And
yeah, she had something like this, I'd be fucking concerned.
Yeah.
But she isn't.
We don't know the circumstances of how they live in that era.
It's not even a lot. It's like the tiniest fuzz, and people are like, "Oh, I can't wank over her now." It's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, on staying on topic. It's a fun game, and it is enjoyable, and I am having a great time with it. There's a lot of cool lore that's come with it. Cool new mechanics in regards to going off and upgrading certain things, new crafting sections. It's great. But it's still grindy as fuck, and there's still a bunch of pointless shit. So yeah,
Yeah.
Do better. But yeah, open worlds are getting fucking burning me out.
Yeah, maybe if you like put it down and played it again after a while of not playing any open world games, you make.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is what I'm close to. I think is just sort of going right. Fuck this. Put it down for a bit. Come back to it after playing like maybe a linear single player game or something for a bit. Just cleanse my palate a little. That's the reason I gave up on Valhalla, Assassin's Creed, was because I put 120 hours in, and I was like a quarter of the way through the campaign.
Yeah.
That is not normal. It just isn't. So, people might go, well, that's good value for money. Not when it's just copy-pasted bullshit for 50 hours. Like, that's not fun.
People go, just focus on just the story. Just streamline the story quests.
It's like, you can't. Some of the quests require you to level up.
Yeah.
So you have to go off and do the grindy bullshit. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I find open worlds are getting very fucking.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Destiny 2 released its latest expansion, The Witch Queen, which is it's a very good expansion, I'd say. I mean, still, I'm a sucker, and ended up buying the expansion and then like the little season thing afterwards, even though I'm like tutting and rolling my eyes all the time at the pricing strategy, but then it's still sufficient. But it is nice to have that kind of story going on over the course of many weeks. But the actual campaign to The Witch Queen was probably one of the better ones they've released so far.
That's good.
It introduces a lot of good lore about the Hive and the Hive gods, and kind of it humanizes them to some extent, and you're like, oh, these creatures I've been fighting all the time, which they've been trying to do that with all the species in Destiny. You kind of got friendly Fallen, you've got friendly Cabal, you've got friendly, well, not so much friendly Hive, but misunderstood Hive. So it's all about, kind of living in this world where are you the enemy, are you the good guy, or are you the bad guy?
Yeah.
Or just a mix like everyone is.
Bit of
but
both.
It's interesting, and the voice acting and stuff is like better, because it used to be just a lore card that you had to read on Destiny 1. I had to go through about 5,000 different pages just to read anything, but now they are introducing more of that to the world, and it's really, really good story wise. Obviously it'll wear off, the honeymoon period will wear off, as it does after a few weeks. But yeah, and then more monetization will come in with the extra dungeons and stuff, and they're like, buy this, buy that, buy this.
Buy everything.
I mean, so it is a successful franchise, but they need to cut back on some of the monetization. But
yeah,
I mean, I have enjoyed some of the grindiness aspects of it,
good.
and it's always been a very solid shooter, hasn't it? So,
yeah, that's true. It has.
And people just want that constant updates and breath of fresh air on their loved games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know someone else who we know will probably give you a much better
I don't know.
summary.
I think it depends how deep into the game you get, really, doesn't it? Like, if you're just there for the campaign, that's there. You can do it. It's a great time. If you're there for the seasons as well, you can dive in occasionally to try and get the extra stuff off the season and everything. That's cool. But I think if you're really heavily invested, like if you're a hardcore player, there's so many more layers of depth that you can go.
Yeah.
But you don't need to. It's more like optional extras kind of there, you know. Although there is lore and stuff attached to it, you can just watch a YouTube video. It's fine.
yeah. But obviously there's raids and stuff, and but yeah, it's all, you know, decent stuff. Something for everyone a little bit. But you know, it does kind of, there's a lot of a hardcore element to it. But yeah, luckily we know some people who help us through.
Exactly. I apologise. I'm going to have to go for a wee.
Oh, no, that's okay. When you got to go, when you got to go.
When you got to pee, you got to pee. That's how it goes.
No use if you just piss yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I was sitting there. I was like, "Can I hold it? Can I hold it?" No, I can't.
Yeah. Should I make things easier for it in the editing room, or should I just go for a pee?
It's fine.
Is there any more games that?
I have not got anything on there. At least not for now.
Yeah, not. So we can move on to a different section.
Shall we go to the films and the TV?
Yes, let's go there.
Yes, so I finally watched Black Widow. It was a while ago, but I
yeah.
watched it. And yeah, good film. I enjoyed it. David Harbour was kind of his performance, I felt, kind of was reined in.
Yeah.
But
Red Guardian, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it was a good film. It was fun for what it was. Better than I thought it was going to be. From what I'd seen other people saying, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be awful. This is going to be a slog." It really wasn't. It was
still very much an exciting Marvel movie.
There was a lot of action. It was very good. I do kind of understand why people were a bit miffed, maybe, about how they just sort of shoved her sister in, kind of more. And there are some plot hole stuff, kind of like suddenly they now have a device that can like sort of camouflage your face to look identical to someone else's. Like, that was a bit weird. Like, there was no explanation. It was just, they just have this technology.
Yeah.
So I mean, but if overlooking that, it's a Marvel film. It's action. It's fun. It's enjoyable, and it was acted well.
Get some Black Widow lore and organization behind it, because we don't. It's kind of have a tendency, these films, to just shove these superheroes in there.
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey, I want to learn more.
Oh, hey.
But yeah, no, it was a good film, and I think it was unfairly crapped on a lot.
Yeah, did Scarlett Johansson probably didn't help, like wanting it. What did she want? She wanted to sue him or something?
Oh, I don't know. It was like in her contract, it was meant to be just a cinema release, and then it ended up coming out on Disney Plus.
And she's like, no.
Well, I think that was, I remember talking about this, and it was like, well, they broke her contract, so I mean, I completely agree that she should have the right to. It's just to anyone like us who aren't millionaires, who aren't actors and actresses, maybe frown upon it. But then again, I think I used this argument at the time as well, was if you work 12 hours and they refuse to pay you for it, I mean, you'd be just as fucked off. So I mean, it was like an unfair advantage or disadvantage, like she was having her wages cut, even though technically she should have been earning all the money. But again,
I think just the way it was reported and stuff came across negative, I suppose. So.
Yeah, it normally does when it comes to famous people, and I get it.
Yeah,
but it's like overall, just looking at the film, good film, fun.
Yeah,
not the best Marvel film, but not the worst either. That goes to Captain Marvel, even though I've not seen it. I don't need to.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that one.
I probably should watch it.
It's not the best though.
I should probably just watch it, but I can't stand Brie Larson. I just can't. I'm sorry. It's not.
She's got no ass. She can't help it.
It's not that. It's just genuinely, she's an obnoxious prick. I just don't like her. But again, that's not fair to judge an entire film on that. So maybe I should.
Well, I finally watched Spider-Man.
Yes, you watched No Way Home, didn't you?
Yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home. Definitely enjoyed it. All the villains brought the A game. William Dafoe was so good. It's as if they never left the roles. They had so much energy. I was like, oh my god, it's just amazing.
Peter.
Yeah. Just so many quotable things, and it's just like a continuation of their story, which you never got. And like,
yeah, very, very.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and the whole kind of twist at the end and stuff. You're like, oh no, what? How is this going to help in the future? And I suppose they can reboot the franchise and whatever.
Yeah, I think they've got another trilogy planned,
Uh,
which is crazy. But I mean, yeah, go for it.
it's Spider-Man, most popular.
Yeah,
And
he's kind of the leader now, isn't he?
yeah,
Since Tony's no longer there.
yeah. But yeah, very good. I thought maybe the first hour or so could have been cut back a little bit. It's a little bit, just Spider-Man does chores for a few, like the first hour.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, can we get into the action now, please? But yeah, I mean that's a minor complaint,
Yeah.
I suppose.
What was kind of your thoughts on Strange being in there, and kind of
Oh,
that
yeah.
aspect?
Well, I was hoping that they kind of would have a bit more of an explanation as to why he just kind of let Peter intervene with all these kind of world-ending spells.
Yeah. He was just like, yeah, sure, no, I can do that.
But no, it pretty much happened as it did in the trailer, and he's just like, "No, stop it, you naughty boy, come on!" And he
Stop
kind of fucked up the
talking.
whole world, and then he wants to even fuck it up even further by kind of helping the villains become good guys and improving them and stuff, which is very cool. But plot-wise, it's a bit like if it was anyone else apart from Peter Parker and that relationship Strange had with him, then it would have been like, you're literally a villain here.
It's very Spider-Man, isn't it? It's like the way I saw it described was boy. The first film was boy, second film was teenager, and now he's a man.
Yeah,
But yeah, no,
probably agree with that.
it's definitely tackles some darker subjects of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
The loss of May, dealing with someone like Green Goblin, or making the choice on to help these people instead of just seeing them as villains.
yeah,
With I think Dr. Octavius stayed. I think he did turn into a bad guy at one point, didn't he? But then he sort of switched
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, it was definitely cool, and they definitely got a lot of screen time, which was nice.
Yeah,
And I still cannot get over the opening of the portal and then just
yeah.
there he was, Tobey Maguire.
Just and Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. Fuck Andrew. Just no. I love Andrew as well. I think he was done dirty with his films.
Yeah.
So it was nice that he kind of got a little bit of redemption in this film.
They kind of like play with that, and it's like, oh, I never thought anyone like that cool. I just thought a lizard.
Yeah, it was. To be fair, I must admit I'm quite surprised Sony let them do that. But it was very cool to see Tobey Maguire back in a suit. I think he wasn't his original. Well, it was a remade suit of his original, but they CGI'd a bit more and stuff as well. But
Yeah,
no, it was a good one. It was a good time.
it's like kind of very plot armory film, but also a film that you don't really care because you just want to see all these heroes and stuff together.
I'll be honest.
So
The reason I went to it was because I knew the other Spider-Man were going to be there.
Yeah,
I was like, I need to see this moment.
yeah.
Like 3 generations, basically.
I know it's unprecedented, so it'll go down in history, and it's a good film as well. So
Definitely.
and moving with the Tom Holland theme, I suppose I should talk about Uncharted as well.
Yeah.
Now, as soon as I watched it, I was like, oh yeah, that's amazing, that's really good. But now I think as time has gone by, I think it was terribly miscast with Tom Holland and Mark, what's he called? Mark Wahlberg? Sully.
Yeah. Who the fuck cast him? I don't get it.
Yeah. There's only one scene in the film where he actually does look and sound like Sully, which is the very end credits, like mid-credits scene.
Which apparently was filmed after the film was made.
Yeah.
Because people were so angry at how he was portrayed.
Yeah. Like, hey guys, let's do this adventure. Like, no, you're not Sully.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was a decent action flick if you want to turn your brain off, but a lot of kind of suspension of belief and stuff. And Tom Holland is decent. You can tell he's done some. He's got some of the quirks of Nathan Drake and stuff, but he's still. I don't think he's cast right at all either. But he does his best. Bless him.
I think that from what the best thing I've heard, the thing I heard about it was if you go into it as an Uncharted fan, you're going to be bitterly disappointed.
Yeah, it's kind of just like.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I was just gonna say, if you go into it, kind of looking at it as a buddy cop duo with Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland, because apparently they do have good chemistry, it will be a very enjoyable film and you'll have a great time. But it's
Yeah.
just defining that. I don't know if that's correct because I've not seen the film, but from what I've seen people talking about it, that's kind of the feeling I've got is.
Yeah. I agree with that sentiment, and it is like basically greatest hits of all Uncharted things. So if you have seen Uncharted, you will recognize all of the things, but Uncharted does them all better at the game.
Games, yeah.
So yeah, they pulled apart like all of the best bits and put them in this like plot with the villains are just so one-dimensional. It's all about Spanish goals and oh wow, there's no kind of dimension or layers to it. It's just lots of betrayals and backstabs, as you'd imagine.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very by the book, I suppose, but
Shame.
it was a decent action flick. What can you say? Really, it's not going to go down in history as amazing, but
Yeah, it was.
it's definitely a film based on a video game.
There's definitely nods to it, but it's not anywhere near. Because that's the thing that I was confused by. Was like there was, especially the plane sequence. That's from the third game. The fuck have they got it in the first Uncharted film?
Yeah.
Have they just basically thrown all of the moments you go, oh, that's in the film and in the game now? And then it's basically like, what are we going to do for the rest of the films? Because apparently they want to do like I don't know if it's a trilogy or something with these films, but they want to do like 3 films. It's like, well, you've used like all the best moments from the games.
Yeah. They still need to do the train scene, so that's the one they can.
Oh, there you go. That's the entire second film based around that train.
Yeah, let's just do a train scene, but for 1.5 hours. But yeah, they do kind of mess with the lore a bit and the backstory because Nate and Sam, obviously in Uncharted 4, they kind of escape together and then they go their separate ways, and Sam gets put in prison. Well, they both get put in prison, but and in the film, it's just Sam that kind of goes away and leaves him behind. So they do kind of mess with the origins a little bit, and there's no Elena to be seen yet. So that's also the second film, maybe.
Yeah.
So they've got some material to keep on going with it. And hopefully, they kind of stop trying to forcing it to be like the game and just kind of let it be its own thing in the second one. So which it did very well at the box office. So there will be, obviously a trilogy.
Oh yeah, that thing made a fuck ton of money.
And it's really nice to see the PlayStation studios at the start. It's like, oh my god, it's going into the mainstream.
I mean, that's the first. It was like the first big, sort of the biggest release that Sony have done in regards to games and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. So that's Uncharted.
Fair enough. So I mean, good fun action, but not really if you're an Uncharted fan.
Yeah.
Fair. That's kind of how they normally go.
Yeah, they got it right there.
Yeah. I've got a film, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. So for anyone that saw it, which was The Hitman's Bodyguard, which was Ryan Reynolds, Samuel Jackson, Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock? No. Fucking, I always get these two mixed up. What's her name? Fucking Selma Blair. I don't fucking know. Why can't I remember her name?
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, but it's basically the first film is basically about Ryan Reynolds' character becoming a bodyguard for the hitman that Samuel L. Jackson is. Funny, comedy, works really well. It's really funny. It's really enjoyable. The second film... Yeah, Salma Hayek, sorry. The second film is basically the wife, which is Salma Hayek, she plays the wife of King Carius Cade, which is Samuel Jackson's character. She basically comes looking for Ryan Reynolds to help her out, but Ryan Reynolds is still dealing with trauma and PTSD and stuff like that from the first film. Yeah. So it's kind of like the comedy aspect that he goes on holiday, no guns, stuff like that. And then Salma finds him and treats him like a child, essentially.
Yeah.
It's funny, it's stupid, it makes utterly no sense.
Yeah, but, it feels like it's kind of... they saw the success of the first one and thought, let's just continue the story somehow.
Yeah, exactly. But it is a funny film. It is fun to watch. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is just playing Ryan Reynolds, essentially. Samuel Jackson says motherfucker, and Salma Hayek has her tits out. There you go. That's the film. Yeah. But it is funny. There are some very, very good moments in there. So I do recommend it. It's on Amazon Prime, I believe. So Yeah, just give it a watch. It's
Oh,
quite
yeah.
short as well. It's not super long.
Yeah.
So, funny, enjoyable, family fun.
Family fun.
Yes.
Well, before I get onto the torrent of not torrent, that's a bad word to use. The
Before I get to my tyrant.
the slew of like mediocre films, horror films I watched
Ooh, okay.
on Now TV. I'll mention this very special one, which Robin will kill me if I don't mention it. Spirited Away.
Oh, fucking Spirited Away, such a good film.
I watched it finally
Yeah.
with Robin, and
That's why.
yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was definitely in the mood to watch something like that.
Yeah.
in that night. So
It's a
I
good
watched
film.
it and I gave it an 8 out of 10 because I don't believe I've watched a film like it before, really anime style film. Probably have, but that in that Studio Ghibli style.
Yeah.
Lots of kind of interesting characters and a whole kind of different world. Yababa and a massive head and a big giant baby, which gave me a very interesting nightmare. And that night,
Bloody hell.
I dreamt I was being chased by the baby from Resident Evil 8. That's what it reminded me of. Like, my God.
Oh Christ.
But it was nice to kind of see that fantasy world and how it kind of links into some darker themes and yeah, eccentric, funny. I like the footballs. Yeah, good characters. I liked it.
It is a great film.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And No Face. I can't
You'd be crucified if you didn't mention him.
can't not go. Ghostface, No Face.
Not Ghostface, No Face.
Yeah, maybe one of the reasons why I wanted to watch that one because No Face reminded me.
Yeah. No, that's
Obviously,
fair.
he's nothing like Ghostface, but maybe a little bit. But we'll see. But yeah, enjoyable. There you go, Robin. I didn't change my score like I thought.
She was like, "You're going to change your score."
Yeah, you gotta change your score. You gotta do it. No.
No, he kept it the same. He is a man of his word. Yeah. No, fair.
I look forward to watching some more Studio Ghibli films in the future.
Oh, there's a film that I need to show both of you that's anime. And we'll all watch it together.
Yeah.
It'll be a great time.
There's Howl's Moving Castle. That's one that came up and recommended once.
Yeah,
so
I still
give
need to
a
watch that. I still not watched it. I keep getting told to watch it. I'm like, I haven't watched it yet. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
watch this.
Watch this one. But yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I've also watched a slew of mediocre films,
Oh, this should be good.
which I'm going to get through very quick. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong list here.
Oh, these are the good ones.
Escape Room Tournament of Champions. I mean, I suppose if you really enjoyed the first film, you'd like this one, but like characters get kind of even worse. Yeah, it's just very mediocre, and I kind of fell asleep. The Forever Purge.
Yeah.
Again, it's just been done to death. You're just like,
It's fucking bland. By that point.
and nothing new has been brought to the table apart from the fact that, hey, let's just do the Purge all the time now.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Wonder Woman 84. Now, this wasn't particularly that bland. It's very colourful and very interesting. Lots of plot holes if you think about it, but I think I did have a better time watching that than some of the others. Gal Gadot is obviously,
Yeah.
a goddess in woman form. But yeah, it's a very. I quite enjoyed seeing the villains. Pedro Pascal did a good job, and what's her face, the comedian.
Oh yeah.
She was okay as the panther thing. The thing.
Yeah, I don't know what that character is either.
Cheetah, that's it.
The cheetah.
I kept thinking cougar, but no, it's
Wow, way to build up her self-esteem.
she's
Nicely
the
done.
incredible cougar.
The incredible cougar. Oh, brilliant.
But yeah, it was a decent flick. Obviously, it probably went on a bit too long. It was a bit too silly in times, but it was decent if you'd want to switch your brain off and watch a nice DC film.
Fair enough.
I did actually start watching the Justice League, the Snyder cut. I think I got about an hour into it, but I had to do other things at the time, so I haven't finished it, and my Now TV thing ran out, so I won't be able to watch
It's very much a film to watch in segments because it's
Yeah,
4
it obviously
hours.
has a part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely seemed like it was going a darker, obviously,
It's much better.
approach. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so much more fleshed out. Yeah, maybe perhaps a bit too long at 3 hours. How long it is? 3 hours 50 or
Four,
something.
4 hours.
Perhaps a bit too long like that, but yeah, probably much needed with this extended cut. um, and yeah, I think that's it for films.
Oh.
From my side, anyway.
I've got a couple. So there's a classic one that I'd never heard of before, which was called Life with Dog, which is basically about this guy who's lost his wife, and this dog just randomly comes out
Oh,
of
is that
nowhere.
with Channing Tatum?
No,
Is that a different one?
that's the new one that's come out.
Oh, okay.
But this is like quite an old one. I think it was 2012. This one was made, and it's really good. How it tackles kind of depression, moving on from stuff. There's like a specific sort of reason that this dog chose him, and it was to try and help him find out what happened. It's a really good film, and I actually highly recommend if you can find it anywhere. It's a fucking tricky one to find. Definitely give it a watch. Very good. I watched Being Human season 1 again. Very good. Enjoyed it. Great time. Good success. Great classic. Nice. Right, Netflix's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, I did a deep dive on this. I did a deep dive on this, so go check that out if you want to. But just to give the quick rundown, it was so close. I mean, admittedly, there is something I forgot to mention in the deep dive, which is one of the sisters, that's one of the main characters, is an absolute arse for the first 20 minutes of the film. Like, a complete scumbag that you just want dead. And then for whatever reason, she does like a 180 out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Literally out of nowhere, and it's not in her character, like, at all. But they just went, it's like the writer halfway through went, actually, I need this character to be liked. So I'm just going to make her nice now. Forget about all the other stuff she's done. I'm not going to change it. It's like...
Yeah.
Stupid. But no, definitely the bloodiest Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's definitely a scene in a bus that's a massacre. It is a good film, right? It is fun to watch. It is enjoyable. But the goddamn ending. Just ruins it all.
It had that kind of entertaining value, like guilty pleasure. Watching like a film that's gory. And,
they tried.
I did quite enjoy it. Some aspects of it, but
the fucking they tried to copy Halloween. What Halloween did.
Oh god, yeah, with the Jamie Lee Curtis.
I don't know why they did that, because it makes utterly no sense in regards to the lore of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I wasn't aware. Admittedly, when I made the deep dive, I wasn't aware of this. So I had to then, when I went off and kind of looked at other people who were familiar with the franchise, I was like, oh, I mean, it's cool that they brought her back. There was no point, but they did.
So was that actually her, or was that an actress?
No, unfortunately, the actress that played the original lady, she was in the 2013 remake with Alexander Daddario. But she passed away, unfortunately, in 2014, and the original Leatherface passed away as well at some point during that time. So they had to recast both. Now, the guy who plays Leatherface in this film, fucking phenomenal. He's really, really good. He's really intimidating. He's really imposing. He is genuinely terrifying. But yeah, don't know why they brought her character back, because apparently she can survive anything. There's one particular scene, she gets skewered by a chainsaw, literally lifted off the ground.
And she's just like, as if she's had a little nice morning nap.
She should clearly be dead, and she's not. It's really fucking stupid. There was like a moment I remember telling you, and I think I said it in the deep dive, there was a moment that would have been perfect for them to like have like a cliffhanger ending that they could have led on for sequel bait, and it would have been brilliant. They didn't. Instead, they made him look like Free Willy. That's all I will say.
I think I enjoyed like certain scenes of it, like obviously the bus scene. There was the scene in the house. There's like lots of tension-filled scenes as well, which I quite liked, which was missing in a lot of recent horror films. With the chainsaw, like with one of the sisters is hiding in the house, and she's like trying to get the keys. And she's trying to run away. The chainsaw's getting like closer to her through the house. I thought that was really creative.
That was very good. Yeah, I enjoyed that bit.
So I can't knock them on the creative kind of kill.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I suppose.
I mean, they definitely went for the bloody route, especially with the bus scene. And I commend them for doing that. You know, I think a lot of
You
the
cancelled,
times,
bro.
I think that was so fucking. I'm so glad he cut them up. Like that it's there's a lot of cringy lines and dialogue. I think a lot of horror tries to lean into the more, you know, how do we get this fuckboy cringy, you're cancelled if you do anything, bro, kind of social media aspect to it. There's no need. You don't have
Yeah.
to do that.
But
if
the bright side is they
you
get
know,
butchered. So.
yeah, it's an entertaining butchery to watch.
Yeah.
There was the best scene from, or one of the most, you know, genuine scenes that made me cringe was the leg break from the guy when he's in the house. He goes in the house.
Yeah.
Basically, there's this guy this character, that one of the twin I was talking about, that's an asshole in the beginning. She basically just acts like a complete dick to this guy. Quite frankly, I like this guy and I think he's an absolute legend. He basically has a fight with Leatherface, and Leatherface hits his leg, and his leg just bows, and it is like genuinely.
We all know about you and leg breaks.
Yeah, it's really, really well done, mind. It looks really good, and the fight is really interesting. Like, he genuinely, you know, gives Leatherface a bit of a hard time until he unfortunately meets a shard of glass. But yeah, it was brutal. Proper brutal. They didn't hold back with it, which I like. Again, I think a lot of horror films these days tend to hold back on the brutality because they're too scared to sort of delve into that.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't do that with this film, but they made a lot of simple mistakes that could have been done a lot better.
Yeah,
You know.
I think they dropped the barrel when it came to the ending and the whole, you know, she's waxing with the chainsaw, and you know, he's somehow still alive, and then
It didn't even hit him. It didn't even hit him. He literally has no injuries.
she pulls a funny face, and then they do the whole try and back to the original with the car, automatic driving car.
Fucking stupid.
It's a
Yeah,
bit like,
I didn't
it's
realise
a
it
bit
was an automatic driving car. That's how little attention I paid to the film.
Yeah.
I didn't realise because I complained about it in the deep dive. I was like, the car just drives itself away. Like, it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, it was
And I
a
was like,
self-driving one, I think.
self-driving car. But yeah, it's still stupid. Like, it just is. And then, like, the ending of him walking towards the fucking house, the Texas Chainsaw house, essentially. Why is it still there after all these years? It doesn't make any sense.
You know,
Like,
need to have more sequels and remakes.
yeah. I mean, I'd like to see them continue this one on, because I think if they refined in the next one, take the lessons from this one and put them into the next one, it could actually be a great film. But I don't know if they're going to or not. I think it's very much up in the air whether they will. But yeah, definitely better than the 2013 remake. The only good thing about the 2013 remake was Alexander Daddario having a top off half the time. So
Yeah, the carnival chase, yeah.
there, I like
the bouncy boys.
I like the. Do you know what? I like the 2013 remake, not just because of that. Genuinely, because there are some scenes in the 2013 remake that I personally enjoyed more than this remake. But this one definitely beats
I don't
it.
really remember anything from the 2013 one apart from Alexander and
Yeah.
the carnival chase thing, which is all right.
I feel sorry for her, man. Every film she goes into, it just feels like a lot of people just remember her for her tits. And it's like, she's a good actress, but it's just people are like... I mean, in that one as well, they had her nude way too often. There's like the scene where she was chained up. Why is her top undone? What? There is no need for that. You literally did it just because.
Yeah.
But yeah, to stay on topic, yeah, this one was okay.
I remember taking one of my dates to see that with my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah, like, let's go see this film.
What's
And
that?
you were just sitting there like, this is a great film. And she's like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. We didn't seem to get along after that.
You don't look like her. Why? That was her to you.
Yeah. Why do you look like Leatherface?
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, no. Not a bad remake, reboot kind of thing.
It's kind of unnecessary, but kind of what I needed on that Saturday night.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that if you've got nothing better to do and you like the first film, it's there. And it's an alright sequel. But yeah, I watched the Tinder Swindler documentary as well. It just angered me. These fucking women, and this is not a tyrant against women, I swear. But literally,
trigger warning.
yeah. The first girl, when she's talking about it, she's like, "Oh, I'm kind of a Tinder expert," and she's been on it for 7 years and she's still single.
Yeah.
If you're an expert at it, you're a bit of a scumbag anyway. And the fact that you trusted him,
Yeah.
like you just believed him, like it's really, I mean, I do feel sorry for them because they went through hell with this. but they are fucking stupid to have agreed to having these loans and like being okay with it, even though they'd met like twice. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you are a fucking idiot, and it is your fault that you are in that position. I'm sorry, I could not
think-
sympathize with them. I couldn't.
I think the draw of it for me was just like seeing how he operates and like what kind of business empire he somehow created, like of like swindly women.
I'm not justifying him, by the way. He is a fuck nugget and an absolute piece of shit. But the women are just as fucking stupid. Like, I'm sorry, who the fuck believes someone and then takes out thousands upon hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of loans?
Yeah, like I do have some sympathy for them, because I know personally some people who have been like affected by these romance scams and stuff. Like if you're at your lowest point and someone's giving you affection, you don't underestimate how powerful that is.
Yeah, I mean, it is very much like being in that mindset, I guess. I mean, it's
Where
very. I guess
someone
it's very
says
easy,
really nice things to you all the time. Like you're gonna want to care about them, and you're like,
I mean,
even without even meeting them, you can
Yeah.
grow these attachments, which is like unhealthy.
yeah. I mean, I get it. I do see it. I don't know. Maybe it's just 2020 hindsight vision. Maybe I'm not seeing it in a sympathetic enough way. I'm willing to admit that.
But for these girls who are quite savvy, it's a bit suspicious.
I don't know. It felt really stupid. Like, you met this person on Tinder and you just believed them. Like, you didn't think to maybe question it. You just went, oh, well, he's got a private jet. He must be rich.
I suppose the thing is, like, he invited them onto it and, like, kind of started off all right.
I mean, but then again, you'd still be suspicious, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd still be suspicious. I just don't... Like, you say you're a Tinder expert. Clearly not. I mean, I don't know. It just... they rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I felt sympathy for them, yes. But at the same time, I had equal amounts of, well, that's kind of your own fault as well, though. I mean, again, I'm not saying, the guy is not a dickhead. He is. He is a complete scumbag and should be absolutely prosecuted for some of the shit that he has done.
Yeah.
But I can't help it. It is your fault. You took out the loans. Who the fuck does that with someone they've met twice? Twice you met him. And you were like, I'll take out a £40,000 loan for you. Yeah, sure. Just make sure you pay me back, bro. That's not how it works.
Yeah, I did like the woman who sold all of his clothes and stuff, and it's like, yeah, I'm still selling them there.
Yeah,
I was like, that's
she's
very
cool.
good.
That's fine. I like her. But even she was stupid. Like, I'm sorry. They are. There's just certain things that each of them did, right? I'm sorry. I felt for this girl when she was bawling her eyes out on camera, the one that took out all those loans and and still to this day is in debt for it. I do feel for her. I'm not completely heartless. But she did take out loans for a guy she had met twice at that point. Can we not forget this? Twice she'd met him. All right. He had wined and dined her. All right, he had maybe shown her a few things that kind of maybe led her to believe he's rich and he's a millionaire and all this, that, and the other. I'm sorry, but even when he was being an arse to her, she was still getting the loans for him.
I guess it's just...
There is a level of responsibility you have to accept. You cannot just... Documentaries paint this fucking picture of, oh, boo-hoo, these poor people. And I'm not just going to say women, because men have done this as well. Men have clearly fallen for these scams as well. And it's like, oh, well, they were at their lowest. They just wanted someone to love them, etc., etc. But there is a level of... You have to have a level of just sensibility and just maturity. You can't just expect to take out loans of that fucking mental... There were so many things they could have done to have been like, I want evidence that you own this thing. Like, I can't imagine, even if I was at my lowest, if I met someone that was being really lovely to me, which I have been in that position, yes, it is easy to get lost in it. But if someone was like, I'm a millionaire, by the way, baby, I have a card that has thousands of pounds on, let's go splash it. I'd still want evidence if they were claiming to be, like, the son of someone.
Especially if you weren't used to that kind of
exactly.
lavish life.
I mean, these women, not to... shit on them. I'm not shitting on these women, I swear. But just the way they come across in the documentary, at least to me... Although, yes, I felt sorry for them. I don't know, there was sort of an air of arrogance to them.
Yeah.
I'm an expert on Tinder. I know what I'm doing. I've done this for years. It's like... That is not the way to get people on your side.
I mean, it's certainly not... I know they do paint them as, like, proper victims of this, but there is a level of... accountability that they have to take. Like
Exactly.
seriously.
Yeah, and I'm not shitting on them, and what happened to them is
I mean,
atrocious.
at the end of the day, what he did wasn't. I mean,
no,
I think it's illegal,
exactly.
but
Yeah.
it's kind of loopholes, isn't it?
Yeah, he is an utter twat for it, and he should get in trouble for it. He should be paying back all this fucking money that he fucked over with these people. He should
But
be.
at the end of the day, they're the ones that said,
Yeah.
yes, go
They
ahead.
signed the paperwork. They got the fucking contracts. They did all of it. There is a level of accountability here. I couldn't sympathise as much as the documentary wanted me to. I'm willing to admit, maybe I'm just a bit of a dick in this aspect. But I just don't see it. Like, there has to be a level of, all right, I did do this. I did fall for this trap. Like, if they came on and went, don't do what I did. Don't fall for this, learn from my mistakes.
Yeah.
I would have been fully on their side and supportive. And although they were that, it's just this air of, like...
And then she was like, oh, I'm still on Tinder now.
Yeah, one of the first things this woman said was, I'm an expert on Tinder. It's like, that is not a way to get people on your side. It just isn't.
I'm not sure why she's single. It's like seems fairly,
Yeah, she's a lovely looking lass. She seems like a good laugh, and she's got a lovely personality on her. Bit of an arse, but she does seem like a nice person. But this is the thing: when someone says I'm on Tinder, I don't expect them to be looking for a relationship, because 9 times out of 10 they're not. Have people met and had successful relationships from Tinder? Yes, they have, absolutely, but most of them are not there for a relationship.
Yeah.
I think I used Tinder for like 2 days and I realised that.
I guess it's just the whole exaggerating the whole point that love makes you stupid, and
it's so ridiculous though. It's still not a thing.
But
It
is one extreme, isn't it?
I don't know. Maybe there are people who watch this. Maybe go and watch the documentary and tell me if I'm wrong or right, or if you kind of agree. If anyone has watched it, what was your opinion on the documentary? Like, I honestly felt like a dick after watching it, because I was like, I can't sympathise with any of them. I just can't. I mean, maybe I'm being an arsehole about it, but I don't see what is there to sympathise. They made the mistakes. They didn't check. If maybe they had got to know him and had been around him for months and then he tricked them, yes, I can believe that. Twice. You met him fucking twice. No. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't go on.
I mean, that's just, that's how talented he was, making them believe him, I suppose. But...
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know.
If he's still operating, then, there's a good problem there. But
yeah. Hopefully he'll get his just deserved.
Yeah, he did get arrested at one point for a completely unrelated crime,
yeah.
but...
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll be held accountable to these crimes if there's a loophole.
If there's anything. Or maybe he'll just never ever be able to do this again, which is just as good, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's on Tinder has probably got Netflix as well, so
I know
they're going to know.
I think he deleted all his accounts, didn't he, after the documentary came out, so
yeah,
that's a start.
Apparently he's still living a lavish lifestyle. Someone's credit card.
Fucking
I don't know how he even kept that up. It's like, God knows.
Nothing's in his name, so...
He's literally using the money of one girl to pay for another girl.
I know, literally. And the check bounces. It's like, fucking hell. You don't know a person after meeting them twice. Anyway, the last thing that I've got is very different. I've been watching... I haven't finished it yet. I'm watching through it with Robin, funny enough. It's called Food Wars, the anime.
Yes.
It's very interesting. Like, that's all I will say. I do recommend people watch it. It is good, but... Just it's air on the side of odd. Food porn, essentially. Just I'll leave that there.
Well, there's a little quirk for every type of anime.
Yes, there is. There is indeed.
I did watch. Actually, I remember now. I watched one called Alive, which is on Netflix. It's like a 1995 film. Based on the rugby team that was in a plane and it crashed in the Andes and they had to like eat each other and stuff to survive. It's a very kind of aged film now. It's very 90s. But, yeah, it was a pretty decent film. You need to be in the mood to watch it. It's kind of... They don't really show anything, too bad. It's mostly in the mind of like, oh my god, the like theoretical horror of having to eat someone to survive. But really it just looks like they're eating a bit of jerky every now and then. Which is probably what it would look like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting concept, and obviously based on real life events, so that makes it more interesting, of course. So, decent film. But I wouldn't rave about it, but it's decent. for a 90s flick. But yeah,
Fair dues.
that was a final film I just remembered now.
Good times, good times. I do have one book for this one. For this one. I know. Jesus, a book, James.
A book?
A book.
I've got a book. I've got a book somewhere.
I got a book. Yeah, no, I finished Daniel Sloss's Everyone You Hate Is Going to Die, his sort of biography kind of thing. It's one of my favourite comedians. Very good. I do highly recommend people read it or listen to it, however you like. It's a very, very plain, kind of interesting view on certain things. I don't agree with him on everything, but he also talks about other aspects of life and certain things that he's gone through that I think people should listen to, and I think it would definitely give people a better idea of, you know, how the world affects people in different ways and things, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, highly recommend it if you haven't.
Okay. I'll make a note of that one. Sure.
And now we move on to the final one for today, the interesting things. I did have something, but I forgot it.
Yeah. I mean, I did think of something, but it's wildly inappropriate though at the time, so I'll definitely save that one for another week. But I think we have.
I want to know.
I think we have definitely discussed a lot today.
Yeah, it's definitely been a much longer episode, so I think we can hold off on the interesting things for this.
Yeah.
One. Remember, guys, if you ever have anything you'd like us to discuss in the end on the interesting things, let us know down in the comments, or message us if you know us. Of course, apologies that this one was a bit longer, but, you know, dealing with a death in the family takes time, and you have funeral stuff that you have to deal with. Of course, again, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do about the news part of this. Maybe I'll separate it, maybe I'll keep it in. I don't know, I'll see how I feel once the
just do a little splash screen in the middle there.
Yeah.
We're moving on now. You've got to put a line under it somewhere.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, there'll be plenty of deep dives hopefully coming up in the next couple of weeks as well, that I'm hoping to do, as well as another podcast with another person. Ooh, Sean, you could be there for that too.
I'm going to get replaced.
No, you're not being replaced. No, this will always be our thing. But it's nice to bring some people on and have a chat with them about conditions that they live with or learning new things about the world.
Yeah.
Always interesting. So
I might have a feeling who it is.
you might know. I think we did talk about it before, but it's been a while and it was meant to be arranged sooner. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about that a little bit more later.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you to everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, hopefully we'll be back on track now. Maybe we'll do like another one next week or something, because there was quite a lot to get through and I've missed a lot of stuff because I haven't written anything down. So yeah, we'll see.
I've missed a lot of the news tidbits, but they'll pale in comparison to what's going on. So
yeah, maybe we'll do like another one next week or something, just to kind of catch up on more recent events, not just the Ukraine horror. But yeah, thank you to everyone for listening or watching, however you enjoy our moist voices.
You just described it as that.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, thank you all very much. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.
Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe.